it was so depressing. I could
Yes,
tell
crazy
you.
and depressing and
Never done
In what
anything
way?
like that before.
I mean,
Probably until we got into the House and we got before the Department of Education committee, the committee on education inside the House. We did not have a single no vote in a committee against the Southeast pullout. And I mean, I know for one, we would go and we'd make these impassioned pleas, and I mean, we felt like we had information, we had facts. I mean, we weren't just, it wasn't just riding on emotion. These were, here are the things that have to be, that are going to happen if you allow this to occur. We talked about legacy costs and how you are going to suck even more money out of our classroom to take care of retiree costs if you allow this movement to go forward, which, as Senator Bodie White originally intended, which was no legacy costs at all. He likes to say he wasn't trying to harm EBR financially, but his bill had no consideration of a legacy cost when it first started. So it went all the way through the Senate with nothing. And so we would make these pleas, and we just felt like we were completely, it was on deaf ears that they had already made up their mind. I mean, I would get in my minivan and cry. It was that depressing. It was,
and then we'd go home and email, hundreds of emails.
But at the same time, it was eye-opening, encouraging that, for the most part, our elected leaders are neighbors and folks that live down the street and people just like us, and that will return a phone call. We made some great connections, and we have continued to meet in person, by phone, by email, with several of our elected representatives. So in that sense, I never would, before last year, I never would have called my representative and told him or her what I thought about something. But it just, I might have been thinking it, but I wouldn't have made the phone call. And now I have no qualms about making the phone call and sending those emails.
for me, it was a really good chance too to see all of these. I mean, I'm a political science professor, so to see all of these theories that I had learned about in graduate school, being put into action and figuring out. I think one of the reasons we were more successful in the House than we were in the Senate, because we were caught off guard with the bill and how fast things moved. And so by the time it got to the House, we knew a little bit more about what we were doing. We had gotten better at networking with legislators and finding the legislators that were on our side and going to them for advice on how to reach colleagues, mobilizing, people throughout the parish to call, even from across the state, to call their legislators. So by the time it got to the House, we were more organized. We knew a little bit more about what we were doing. And so but the vote in the House, I can feel myself starting to shake from the adrenaline, just thinking about
just sitting in that balcony and watching
how
those votes up
close
on the
and
board.
watching and trying to count, who had walked and who was the no. It was
very exciting.
It was that last day was great.
And a lot of us had our kids down here. It was great.
Yeah.
It was perfect civics lesson.
It was.
It was, but also there was the flip side to what you said about being the downside is that I also saw how really unimpressive some of the legislators were, and I'm being kind by saying unimpressive. I was like, geez,